Hello. Thanks for calling Floral Tech. We're currently closed, but I can take a quick message for the team. May I have your name, please?
My name is Stephanie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Could you briefly explain your issue or request so I can pass it along to the team?
Yeah, so I was expecting my order to arrive 2 weeks ago. I hasn't arrived yet. I kind of need it urgently. So I was calling to see the status of the order.
Thank you for letting me know, Stephanie. Could you please provide the best phone number for us to reach you regarding your order?
Yeah, so you can reach me on 289-774-6303.
Thank you, Stephanie. Just to confirm, you're calling about an order that hasn't arrived yet and you need it urgently. You'd like to know the status of your order, and the best number to reach you is 289-774-6303. Is that correct?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Our team will contact you during business hours. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. Bye. If you're a business owner, then you know that this happens all the time. Your phone is ringing after hours. You're with your family, you're sleeping, or you're finally off your laptop, and then the customer hits voicemail. Maybe they leave a message, maybe they hang up. And even if they do leave a message, what happens the next morning? You're probably going to be scrubbing through voicemails, replaying the same call 3 times, trying to catch their name, their number, why they called, and whether it's actually urgent. It's messy, it's slow, and honestly, you're leaving money and trust on the table every single night or every time you can't pick up the phone. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you can fix that with an AI after hours receptionist. Here's what this workflow does. When someone calls your business after hours, an AI voice assistant or an AI phone agent built with Retail AI and Microsoft Copilot Studio answers politely. It takes a clear message and asks all the right questions. And then the full call transcript gets sent into Power Automate inside Microsoft Copilot Studio, which uses AI to extract the key details. That is like the contact name, the reason for the call, urgency, and the callback number. Those details are automatically logged into a spreadsheet so that when you start your day, you have a clean call log instead of a pile of voicemails. And if you want to get even fancy, you can even use Copilot Studio to ask questions like, show me all the urgent calls from last night and draft replies. Or you can even go ahead to basically program Copilot Studio to send you emails anytime an urgent call comes in. By the end of this tutorial though, you'd have a full working after hours receptionist that never sleeps, never forgets details, and hands you a neat follow-up list every single morning. Let's build it. So as mentioned, I'm building this inside Microsoft Copilot Studio and Retail AI. I'm going to start first with how I build this inside Microsoft Copilot Studio, and then I'll move on over to Retail AI. I've honestly already done tutorials on how to configure Retail AI as well. I'm going to link those tutorials in this video as well so that you can check them out. Actually did tutorials configuring Retail AI and Anything. So that's something you can also try out as well. Okay, so inside Microsoft Copilot Studio, I'm starting off with a webhook trigger. In here, it's basically a manual trigger at this point. But how this works is that when a call comes through, it would hit the URL in here and then it will trigger the workflow. And in order to get this URL, you first need to add the webhook trigger. To do that, you just have to click on plus and then search for webhook inside the action bar. You just have to search for webhook and then it would show up in here. So this is the webhook. Okay, so once you have your webhook in here, you need to hit save, attach an action, and then publish it, and then you'd have the link, the HTTP URL in here, because this is very important because this HTTP URL would be connected to our voice assistant inside Retail AI. Now let me scroll down. So once this is done, when the call comes through, all this information will be passed into the webhook in here. So as you can see, we are seeing things like headers, the body, and then we can see inside the body we have the transcript. So the transcript is what will be passed on to the next step, and that's very important as well. Okay, so this is what happens inside the manual trigger, which is a webhook node. And after the manual trigger, the next step is to add a compose node, and I'm adding the compose node to just extract the part of this whole block I'm interested in, which is basically the transcript. I'm only interested in the transcript block here. I'm not interested in any other thing. So inside a compose node, which I've called call transcript, in order to access a compose node, you can search for compose inside Copilot Studio, inside the automation itself, and then you see compose. So this is the exact node we are using. And inside this node, I'm passing the transcript. In order to access the transcript, just look at how this is structured. We have the body, we have the call, and inside the call, we have the transcript. So we are really interested in accessing this transcript. So this is what we are putting in here. You just have to click inside the box and then you add in an expression. If you add in an expression, inside the expression box, you just need to enter trigger body, call, and then transcript. So this is the exact line of code, if you want to call it, to use. Okay, so now that you have that in the call transcript, this is how it would look like after you run it. If I click on call transcript here in the output, you can see that this is really the output that came through. So this is how the output will look like. We just have a string of the call. Now that we have all the transcripts here, the next step is to pass this into our AI model inside Microsoft Copilot Studio. So I'm going to close this now and I'm going to come into what I have inside my AI model here. So inside the run a prompt node, you just need to create a new prompt. So you can click on create custom prompt. So I'm using this exact prompt here. So basically what I'm saying is that you're an AI assistant that extracts structured data from phone call transcripts between and after hours AI receptionist and a customer. And I'm talking about like the fact that the full transcript will be provided, and I just wanted to extract the customer's contact name, the customer name, the reason for the call, urgency. I should classify it based on these specific criteria and also provide a contact phone number. And I've also put in that I wanted to structure the return in this format for me, and the transcript should be a string, so I'm putting in an input string. In order to put in an input string, all you have to do is click on the backslash here and you click on text, and that will be it. So I put in that in here as my prompt for my model, and then inside the transcript here, we are interested in the output from our previous step. So I'm gonna hit on this click here, and then I'm gonna select output. So that's gonna be the context I'm passing, or the transcript as well. So if I come into my run a prompt tab in here, you can see that this is the output I'm getting from run a prompt. So the transcript was passed on as an input in here, and then this is the output that I got from run a prompt. So I'm going to show the raw outputs in here. So as mentioned, I wanted to extract it in this format: the contact name, the reason for the call, as well as classifying it whether it's urgent, and then also the contact information. So this is now going to be passed on to the next step. So in the next step, I have the parse JSON node. So if I come in down here, I have the parse JSON node. So this is really the parse JSON node, and in terms of the content I'm passing, I'm just passing the text from the previous step. So if I click on this dynamic data here, I can just click on text. Text is part of the output I'm getting from the previous step. So if I click on text in here, and then inside here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on use sample payload to generate schema. And so when you click on this, all you have to do is you need to enter the same schema you entered in your prompt, which is this one. You copy the same schema you entered in your prompt, and then you paste it inside this here as a sample payload. So I'm just going to paste this inside here. You paste this inside here and you're like done, and it will generate the schema for you. So this is great. So now that this has been generated for us, this is basically how it would look like. So as you can see in here, this is what is being passed, which is still a text. In terms of the output now, it's going to be passed as a JSON, and based on that, we'll be able to populate a spreadsheet with the information. So once we have the output like that, you just now have to add the rows to your table. So I created a spreadsheet on Excel online, and inside the spreadsheet, I just have like the contact name, reason for the call, urgency, contact phone number. You can add in as many columns as you want, depending on the use case, the kind of things you want to extract, or the kind of things you want to see in your reporting view. But I just have like this information here. And so we are just going to pass those individual fields directly in here. And in order to do that, this is exactly what you need to do. You use the add a row into table node in here, and then you have to select the location in which the spreadsheet is located. Okay, so in this case, this is where the spreadsheet is located. And then in terms of like date format, you can select the date. Right now, I'm not really tracking dates in the spreadsheets, but if you want to track the date and everything, you can track it as well. And then you pass in the data. So contact name, again, you can just get a contact name from the previous step. So when you click on pass JSON, you can click on body, then you click on contact name. Same, you select reason for call. Urgency, you select body urgency. Contact phone numbers, you select contact phone numbers. So yeah, once you have this, it would automatically be populated into your spreadsheet for you. And then you can have additional actions after this. Maybe you can, like I said, inside your run a prompt node, you could also even say that you've already classified what's urgent, what's not, but you can have additional reasoning steps in there. You can decide to add like an Outlook note so that it sends you an email if there's like a very urgent call, then you need to probably attend to immediately. All these are things that you can configure inside your automation as well. Okay, so the next step is to go into Retail AI and also walk you through how things work inside Retail AI. But before we go into that, I'm going to mention that this tutorial and other tutorials I've done along with templates, tips are all inside my free school community. I'm going to leave the link so that you can join the free school community as well. But then if you also want to learn AI automation in a more structured way, you want some form of accountability, you want to be with like-minded people who are also learning AI automation, then you would want to join my paid membership community, which I'll be launching in January. You want to join the waitlist now so that you get notified once I launch. I'm also going to leave the link to the waitlist in the comment section as well so that you can join that as well. Okay, so let's move over into Retail AI. I've done several tutorials on Retail AI, several use cases. I'm going to leave that in the video as well so that you can go watch it. But one thing you need to do for sure is to sign up for Retail AI. Once you sign up for Retail AI, interested in the agents tab. So in the agent tab, you just click on create agent and you select the voice agent. So inside the voice agent, you're probably going to go for like the custom LLM one, or you can even have the conversation flow agent. It really depends on your use case. And then they already do have templates in here that you can choose from. So you can select any of these templates as well. I already have this agent created in Retail AI, so I'm not going to create it again. Inside Retail AI, this is the configuration I have in here. So you need to select the model you're going for. So you can decide GPT, Gemini, or Claude, right? I'm just going for GPT. You can really look at the pricing here and decide which one you want to go for. And then in terms of the voice, you can decide which voice you want to go for. I couldn't find any voice for an African accent. It does have like American and British. So you can choose any of these. I mean, if you want variety of like different accents, then you can also consider using 11 Labs. My previous tutorial leveraged 11 Labs. So you can leverage 11 Labs because they have like the ability to create your own voice and all that. So once you have that selected, you can select the language. I'm using English. This can also be multilingual. Okay, I'm just focusing on English now. And inside the prompt, this is the exact prompt I'm going for. So I've described the role, I've described the vibe of the receptionist, and I've also included some type of questions the receptionist should ask and then how it should close the call. And in terms of the welcome message, I've configured it that the AI should speak first. So basically when the call comes through, the AI would be the one to speak first. And this message is dynamic. If you want it to be like a same message that the AI says every time, then you can put that in here as well. I actually recommend you do that. I mean, dynamic will make it more interesting, but like that's the thing. Once it's dynamic, then the AI can actually like, unless you put some really good guardrails in place, the AI can really go ahead and do its own thing. So yeah, instead of maybe dynamic, it's easier to just use a static one and then you can just put in a message and then the AI is always going to use that exact phrase. And then I'm passing in some functions as well. So this function here is a get transcript function. And let me show you what that does. So this get transcript function is really taking the transcript of the call and then it's sending it to the endpoint, right? Into our Copilot Studio endpoints in here. So if I come back into Copilot Studio, in the manual trigger, this URL that is generated here is what you're passing into Retail AI. And then in terms of the headers, I'm putting in content type, application JSON. These are like standard stuff. In terms of the parameters I'm passing, I'm just passing the transcript of the call. So this transcript is now passed into Copilot Studio, and then Copilot Studio is able to do the remaining automation behind the scenes. I mean, you can do some level of automation as well inside here, like you can edit prompts tree and then do some level of automation inside here. But I prefer to do most of my automations in another platform, especially for business owners. Maybe you're already logged into a particular ecosystem, right? So you want to have like another platform to run all your automation so that you can connect all the tools you're using already. Now, once you have this configured, then most important thing here is to also configure a phone number, especially if this is not a chat agent and it's a voice agent. You want to configure a phone number. And in order to do so, you need to go to the phone numbers tab here under deploy, and then you can click on buy new phone number. I believe it's about $2 a month to buy a new new phone number. So you can either decide to buy a new phone number, or if you already have like a phone number you have configured in Trilio, then you can actually connect your phone number with Trilio and it should be in here for you as well. But yeah, so once you buy the phone number, what you have to do is you click on it and then you have to connect the phone number to the agent, right? So this is the agent. So I've just connected it to the agent. What this happens is that anytime there's a call coming through, it would hit this agent and then the automation would follow. Okay, that is it for today's tutorial, guys. I know it's quite a long video, and especially if you're new to building automations in general, this might look overwhelming. It might look very complicated. Don't worry, I do have a beginner video on AI automations in N8N. I'm going to link in this video so that you can go watch that as a refresher to get started. And like I mentioned, I do have a lot of tutorial videos as well. You can just binge them over this holiday period so that you can get up to speed with AI automation, because that's where the world is actually going right now. And you can join my school community. You can sign up for my paid membership community as well. That is it for today's tutorial. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.